Hi guys, welcome to another video. So today I wanted to talk about why doesn't consumerism bring us lasting contentment? So by consumerism, I mean the kind of behavior of buying products or buying new possessions in order to make ourselves happy. So these things don't really bring us lasting contentment because, well, firstly, half the contentment or happiness you get from buying a product, you get it from the initial rush of getting that product. And that only happens once. So say you didn't have a car and now you went out and you bought a Tesla, and so you went from no car to now having a car. That's pretty awesome, and you get this kind of rush. But then pretty soon that you forget about the feeling of not having a car, and now you just have a car, so that initial rush is gone. The only way to get that rush of having a new car again is to sell your car and then buy a new one, buy the upgrade. And tech companies know this really well, and they really play on this, because what they'll do is constantly release updates with new features so that we feel, oh, they sort of string us along, something new. It's the same consumerist mentality. And then they'll just suddenly stop those updates. And then at that point, you don't get that joy anymore. And then you're very incentivized to buy the new model, which may just have a few more fancy bells and whistles. So this whole mentality of constantly getting a better product, getting a new product, getting the upgrade is all part of consumerism. And you can see that it's kind of like a treadmill. It's never going to last because you need to keep getting that hit of a new thing. Okay, so secondly, you might think, well, if you buy a new car, at least now you have a new car, and that car will last for 20 years and it'll keep bringing you some utility and some happiness. You can get around more easily. For sure, yeah. But here again, if it's an expensive thing, like you bought a big fancy house or an expensive car, what are you really doing there? Well, you've spent a whole lot of money that you've earned by doing something that you probably didn't really like doing that much. So something that you had to do a bunch of stuff that didn't really make you happy and just made you perhaps less happy in order to buy a thing to make you more happy again, and it doesn't even last. So you can see how this doesn't even really make sense. Perhaps a wiser idea would be to, instead of getting a big house and a fancy car, look for a smaller house which costs a lot less and is in a very inconvenient location where you don't really need a car. You can do everything in a 5-minute walk, and perhaps just buy a cheap car, which you don't even use that often anyway. And this way you will save your money and hence save your time. Stop doing the thing, the job or whatever to make that money. You'll be able to stop doing that sooner, and therefore you are not buying into this whole treadmill of making yourself unhappy to get money and then spending the money on something to make yourself happy again. The other pitfall with all this is that it really kind of just reinforces the idea that you need something to be happy. So it kind of just builds this habit in us that we can't just access the natural contentness and the natural gratitude of what we already have. We end up just destroying our ability to get happy from those things we already have. And so we're constantly reinforcing this habit of achieving happiness through the next thing and the next thing, and then we constantly need that thing. We become addicted to consumerism. So sometimes this concept of accessing happiness, which is already here, is so foreign to us. Like, I'm just thinking, what do you mean I can just be happy? Don't I need a thing that makes me happy? Well, no. This has been shown time and time again by science and psychology that actually, if we're grateful for what we already have, we can achieve infinite happiness right here, right now, without anything, without needing to do anything or acquire anything. And when we fail to do this, we're just stuck on this treadmill where we never really achieve any kind of contentedness, and we're constantly sort of unhappy most of the time and chasing these little things which are really weak. So then what is a wise way that we can deal with this whole consumerist world that we live in? Well, this is my take on it, and this is something that I've sort of worked on over the years, and it's not an easy thing to do. It's like you just feel like you're just alone in this quest because nobody else is doing it. But basically what I do and how I think about it is any kind of thing that I buy, any kind of product, whether it's a big house or a car or a tool for my kitchen or whatever it is, right? I think about a few things. So firstly, I think, is this a thing which will save me some time and stay out of my way? So by stay out of my way, it shouldn't take a whole lot of space to store. It shouldn't take a whole lot of time and maintenance. It should just have its place and bring value to my life in terms of utility, in terms of saving me time, saving my sanity. And it should really do that instead of just it being a sales pitch. And then secondly, I think about, is this thing going to cost a lot of money, and is it going to be worth it? So is it actually bringing value versus how much it's going to cost? Because if it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars when I could have just bought something cheaper, then, well, that's extra years of my life that I need to work doing a job that I potentially don't even like doing. And then thirdly, I think about, well, if this is bringing value to my life in terms of reducing my worries, my concerns, my anxieties, and it's also saving me a lot of time, how can I use that time to lock in or access some of the happiness that is already here? And the way I think about it is that I should use my extra time now from having these extra conveniences that I've bought with my money. I should use this time to work on myself, work on my spiritual practice, to meditate more. And now I really have converted consumerism into lasting happiness, because I've just bought things which just buy me more time, buy me more mind space, buy me more freedom, and not cost a shitload of money that just makes me have to work more. And now I've got this extra time, and with this extra time, I'm going to work on myself and my peace and just getting back to a space of natural happiness. So in a way, you can see how this is a wise use of consumerism by buying time and then investing that time into myself, my own sanity, and my own spiritual path. So that's my take on consumerism and the problems with it, with using it to chase happiness, and some of the ways that you can use it more wisely by using it to save you time, using it to save your mind space to the point that you can invest it into real work on yourself and real spiritual progress by meditation and having a spiritual path. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.